Okay, good morning. So another week goes by in lockdown, doesn't it? And in terms of where we are, what I want to do is obviously carry on in the same sort of method as we normally do. But what I would say is we do need to look at 2 or 3 key areas in this video. So this one is going to be fairly important in terms of an update. Now I did give you an update on Monday to give you a little insight of what was happening, what the ideas were, what was going on in sort of behind the closed doors with Ofqual and BPEC themselves. So the thing that I can say is that we will have to look at in terms of exams. So the exams they are looking for are the first 3 what we call core units. Now I don't normally call them core units. They are supposed to be units that are transferable onto an apprenticeship. So what we mean by that is, one is health and safety. Well, we've all done that, so that's not a concern, is it really? Let's be fair. Then it's communicating with others, and it's environmental. So we've got a bit of a mixed bag in terms of splittage at this point, in terms of what you have or haven't done because of previous students in different cohorts from different years coming into the classes. So we've got to look at the best way that we can do it. So in terms of what we've got to do, we've got to obviously look at those areas as a matter of interest straight away. In terms of practical, they've still not said anything, but that looks like the theoretical requirements. So obviously our attention will now change and our focus will change. What I want to do though first is go through some of the answers from the work you've done. So thank you to the people that have sent me the stuff in. It has last week been another quietish week, I must admit, in terms of getting stuff in. The worry again with that is, okay, and we're going to have to change tack slightly what we need to do. But for those of you in the mindset of getting the work done and you get it submitted, brilliant, you won't have a problem with this. For the people that are playing a little bit of catch up sometimes, you're making your lives quite difficult at this point, okay. Now I did say back in the 20th of April we might have to do exams, and funnily enough we are sat here, aren't we, in the second week of June, on the 8th of June, saying yes, we're probably doing some. So not a surprise there, to be completely honest. As to how the arrangement will sort of take place will be decided by the college, as and when we do them will be decided by the college. So there's the bits I can't answer, but I can only give you the updated information that I've got in a minute. I'm just waiting for something to be rubber stamped, so they say, to come straight out to me. So once I have that, I'll probably set a smaller video later on this week just to clarify everything from there. Okay, so we are going to have to change a little bit of the way we work. So as I say, thank you for what people have sent me the work in, much appreciated. There's some people have put up a tremendous amount of effort in during this lockdown. There's some that haven't, if I'm going to be honest. Now that will be a worry for you in terms of getting those exams done. So you have an opportunity to pull it out of the bag here at this point, but you will find it probably more difficult than what you should have done. Okay, so there is a lesson to be learned from this, is what I'm trying to say at the same time. So some answers then in what we looked at. The first thing I asked you for was SHC, which is specific heat capacity. So thank you for everyone who's put that in. So specific heat capacity is the amount of energy that's needed to raise a material by 1 degree or further. So each set of material that we have will have a specific heat capacity value associated to it, and that will give us the idea of how much energy is required to raise that material. Okay. It's a wonderful thing, the fact we don't have to sit and work this out, do we? So if we solder, we're not calculating any of that. It's just we know that it's warm enough at that point because we've got the experience to do so. Then I ask you then for 3 different types of heat transfer. So we looked at conduction, radiation and convection. There's a few of you got mixed up with radiation, so I want to clear that up so we are crystal clear with that. So conduction, the best way to describe conduction. If you get a piece of 22mm pipe, you hold one end and your friend holds the other, and you put a blowtorch on around towards the middle of it. Eventually the heat will transfer across to where your friend can feel it, and most likely yourself. That's the best way of heat transfer taking place. So that's what conduction is. Hence why we use copper, because it's a brilliant conductor of heat. So it makes sense, doesn't it? Radiation is different. Radiation is nothing to do with radiators. There is a lot of, I would say, incorrect information written on probably a little bit, so much on Google and a few other pages where they talk about radiators giving radiation. It's completely incorrect. Radiation is radiation in terms of the sun, so it's heat from the sun, it's heat from that particular source. So we don't use a lot of radiation obviously in plumbing, but what we do use for radiators is convection. So each radiator will convect heat. You get something called a convection current. where heat will transfer higher up towards the room, and as it goes slowly falls down on the terms of the room to the floor, it cools down and passes back underneath the radiator to be reheated again, called a convection current. That's why you can buy radiators saying single convectors, double convectors, etc. Okay, so there's those three types from there. And then the last thing I asked you to look for was ferrous and non-ferrous metals. So thank you for the guys that give me a list. It is all in the free BPET book as well. So if you are unsure of it, please go in there and have a look. Some great resources to use in there. So when we talk about ferrous and non-ferrous, ferrous is the corrosive materials and non-ferrous are the non-corrosive materials. So to give you a pretty much a straight answer on that one, iron would be a good one. So without being treated, iron sadly would rust away. And then when you look at non-ferrous, you've got something like copper, which is pretty reasonable in itself. Okay, so hopefully that gives you a good idea of what they are. Okay, so we are going to have to change tack. So thank you for the guys that have done the work pretty much on to all of the science stuff that we've done so far, but we are going to have to change tack. So we do need to look at communication with others and environmental. So let me just give everybody an insight of where we are. If you are in Group A, we've done health and safety and we have done environmental. We have to do communication with others because that was the leading unit I was going to leave towards the end, just before science, after we'd done sanitation. Now the beauty of it is we have already done some work on this, haven't we? So some of you have already sent me some documentation, which is great. Some of you have done the Socrative, some of you haven't. So I think the best way we approach this now is that on this week, so we've got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm going to release, in terms of the Socratives, I'm going to release excuse me, two question banks pretty much in terms of all those questions. So you'll end up with about 60 odd questions. You know why it's important to take those now. You must get those done and dusted. Okay, so I'll make a change over on the Tuesday to switch it to the next set. So the Monday is important that you get the first bank of questions done. Okay, and again, when you're doing them, think about the best way of doing it. So if there's questions you struggle with, why not write them down? You won't be able to see the Socrative as I open and close different rooms, and I can only have one room open at a time. So I can't have multiple things going, which is I'm not signed up to Socrative Pro because it costs quite a lot of money. The ideal world would have been we'd have more than one room open, but I can only do one room at a time. So write down the things you're not sure about. Okay, and there's a free BPEC book there that can help you, and obviously going on to Moodle. And then the second half of the week I will open up the next set of questions. So that takes us to Wednesday. So basically what you need to do is go on to Socrative from Monday to Wednesday and get all the questions on that I asked for, please. Okay, so if you're into Group B, we've got a slightly mixed bag here. So some of you will have done obviously health and safety, we've all done that anyway. Then obviously we've got comms and we've got environmental. So some of you have already done those, all three of those units. So you might have a sigh of relief, fair play. But what it doesn't mean is that you won't have to do anything. So prepare in case you get some practical work, and I will detail what I'd like you to do in that in a minute. Okay, for the guys that need to obviously do the comms with others in that group, there's a few of us that would need to do it because we were leaving those units towards the end so the others could finish first, and then we sort of come back round the houses, shall we say, to pick it up. So you can join in with the comms with others questions and get those done for me, please. So again, that's from Monday to Wednesday. Then the environmental unit, the Group B, we would need to do, again, we were going to leave it towards the end so because the others could finish earlier. Again, you will need to do a second set of Socrative questions on the environmental, please. Okay, so I'll be releasing them on Wednesday evening and they will run till Thursday and midpoint afternoon Friday, so about 4 o'clock Friday I will close it. What I do need you to do though, and this is imperative, is to look at the different types of new technology systems we have. So I'll give you a clue. Solar thermal being one, so on and so forth. So if, again, please go into the free BPEC book, they are listed in there, so it's quite explanatory where you can go. It's quite obvious, you'll see the systems, and then we just need an explanation. Okay, so that looks like what we need to do. Excuse me, I was a little bit surprised in terms of it was just maybe those three. Now there could be more added, so I am only giving you an updated clue at the minute. As and when I know a little bit more, we will do that, okay? But we have got enough information there to be going on with for the minute, and the three looks like it's definitely going to be in there, okay? So we do need to focus the efforts now, concentrate on those three. Well, you can say two because we've done health and safety, that's by the by, and we need to really focus at this point. We do need to be in the position where we can go in there and get the results we need, Okay, well, it's more for you guys than me, to be fair, you know, so don't do yourself an injustice. If you've not done masses over the lockdown, this might be a bit of a challenge now all of a sudden to do. And if you've done all the work, which I know exactly who's done it and who hasn't, fair play to you, you should find this quite a breeze, to be fair. Okay, so again, just going to depend on that. Obviously, as and when this takes place, as I've said, I don't know. So we are awaiting the information for that. Now, again, I've asked a lot of questions. So a typical question would be, what if it's in September, because that's the only time it's safe, and how do I start another course, etc, etc, etc. I've asked most of these questions directly to my manager, who's probably asked them further on up in the college and probably to the awarding body. So as and when I get a lot more information, I will share that with you on another video, just to keep you updated. Okay, so that's where we are in terms of state of play. That's looking like what we've got to do. Practical, as I said, hasn't been decided, but, and if you thought I was going to end the video without doing the bathroom bit, haha, got you on that one. So possibly it could be bathroom and airing cupboard, possibly in any of those situations. So in terms of what you'd need to do at the minute before I dedicate some training videos to them, there is some great videos on YouTube about fitting bathroom suites. It is well worth having a look at those, and the starting point is going to be how to fix the appliances in the positions. What type of screws do you need? How is it best to level the bath up? Is it easier to have it turned the other way round with a cradle, put a level across the feet, or is it easier to put it in position and then level it while you're laying on the floor? So your work will be to do some research on fitting bathroom suites. Okay, again, need it on a Word document. A few illustrations would be wonderful. Okay, so make sure we get that done. That's going to help you to do the installation. Okay. So, any questions, again, please send them through. I've not had many this week. I'm just presuming that's because I've hopefully answered them. But again, if there's anything you can think of, let me know. Drop me an email, drop me a text, give me a phone call. Not a problem at all. Okay. So, keep your eyes peeled for the next video that will come out this week. As soon as I get the full information, I'll be putting it straight out to you, so you're well aware of exactly what we need to do. And then I can hopefully then make a start and release some of these bathroom training videos that I've put together for you. And if the case doesn't be that we don't have to do it, then we don't have to do it. Great. Okay. So take care of yourselves, but by all means, I've told you roughly what's going to be happening now. This is the time to get this done. Okay. So I know it's been a very long process and it's been a very long wait, etc. But this is the time where you can get this qualification. Okay. Go and get it. Most of you, I would say, deserve this more than anything else. Some of you need to put a bit more effort in, but ultimately you do deserve it. Okay, so everybody deserves this. Take the opportunity while it's there. You've got my support. You've got 100% of my backing. And again, if you're worried about anything, just please talk to me. Okay, so take care of yourselves, take care of your family, and I'll speak to you soon.